looks like the Illuminati conspiracy is working pretty well, and that's why I am stoned. But I do know who the shooter on the grassy knoll was now. It was Private Pile.
Outstanding, Private Pile. I think we finally found something that you do well.
See, Private Pile couldn't put his gun together at all, but suddenly he's the best shooter, right? The United States government cannot confirm or deny that Private Pile was the shooter on the grassy knoll, so no special magical bullet was used. Clearly, Private Pile was a retarded person and he didn't make it past train. Okay, so, like, how do you become a good shooter? You shoot a lot. Old Papa, he used to be able to shoot them rattlesnakes. One time, there was a rattlesnake right next to Private Joker's foot. Papa shot that rattlesnake right next to his foot. No one ever told John Alexander, or whatever this guy's name is, Almond nowadays, Alexander Almond. No one told him that, well, Rocky has shot a snake before. One time I shot a snake. That's what you tell a kid. Bitch won't come around and talk about snakes and shit. You know that shit's fucking scary as shit. Over the natural course of a war, soldiers do come across snakes. And it is very concerning to all of us, but it is something that we all must face at some point. So what's the story now? We got Private Pile, who was dead, and he became the best shooter, but really Rocky, who is Joker, who is the Duke, who trained in Alaska, if you are watching Full Metal Jacket. So he probably shot a lot in Tarkington Prairie, way out in Texas. So, like, that was before people shot as much. And did I get a gun when I was a kid? Yes. And do I think you should give kids guns? I did shoot my sister, but it was with a BB gun. And in my defense, like, we did always shoot each other. Like, we always shot each other with BB guns. Like, I mean, my friends and I did. Around San Antone, we actually got them turkeys. You know what's crazy about them turkeys? Some of those turkeys are big pimping. They got like multiple women with them. They're like polygamous, polyamorous, whatever you want to call it. They be having sex, but usually they have sex in the trees. You don't even see the turkeys. Next thing you know, you look up in the tree, there's a fucking turkey in the tree. Texas is a little embarrassing nowadays. You know, Texas is actually pretty gay. Like, Dallas used to be super gay, I heard. Like, nowadays, apparently, like, Texas is like, you can't even, like, jack off. And so, like, you know what? Everyone should know that's in Texas. What happens when little boys don't jack off? They turn their dicks into vaginas. We will tuck it, and we will draw on that shit and be like, well, I mean, this is what a vagina looks like. I can see a vagina. And that's the thing. You want to not be against trans shit, but then, like, you don't want the kids to be able to jack off or, like, whatever. Like, I'm not saying, like, clearly, like, you're not allowed to, like, be involved with their porn, and I wouldn't even tell them about it, but, like, I mean, they'll find out about it. They go to school. But, I mean, it's probably better that they're jacking off than, like, trying to turn their dick into a vagina and stuff. Like, I mean, I've done it, and so now there's this question of Angela Chow, who is, like, Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law or whatever. Like, did I know her? Like, did I go hang out with her in Dripping Springs? Or, like, it wasn't in Dripping Springs. Like, I went to her house. Like, it was pretty nice. Like, it had, like, pretty nice feng shui. Like, it would have been the type of place where they had Tibetan prayer flags. Like, I don't know if she had them, but, like, it felt like it was, she's like, I mean, she'd be a Buddhist. Like, I think she was fit. Like, I think she was, like, in pretty good shape. Like, I think she seemed like she was, like, a yoga type person, but she was, like, a spiritual person. But I don't know who's who, because, like, I hung out with this girl in Occidental California that, like, feels like she's, like, not even an Asian, but she's Asian, and, like, it could have been the same person, because that girl's so familiar to me. But, like, you don't even, like, sometimes, like, you don't even notice, like, you're just hanging out with someone and it's just like, well, we're hanging out. Like, you like, suddenly, like, we don't even talk about our names, but, like, we're just together. I feel like when you start looking into origin, it's very hard to not be wrong while you're reading it until you have, like, a moment of, like, epiphany where you're like, Oh, I was wrong about that. And I still haven't finished reading it because my neck's messed up because the cops beat me up. Like, I was handcuffed and, like, my hands were, like, handcuffed to, like, my feet. Like, I couldn't move at all. And then, like, I accused this guy of working for the drug lab in Colorado Springs. And then he, he slammed my head into the window so hard. Like, I was like, oh, like, you want to try again and see if you can break the window. And then he punched me, but that didn't actually hurt me. Like, what hurt me was, like, that, like, my neck's, like, seriously injured from it. So, like, when I started, like, studying hardcore, I messed up my neck. So I spend most of the day, like, walking back and forth in my house because, like, as long as I'm standing straight up, I'm fine. Like, or as long as, like, I'm, like, sleeping in a certain position, I'm fine. But, like, I really do, like, prefer to, like, be walking back and forth, like, with my head erect because, like, I'm that injured. So I've been labeled as spam or, like, platform manipulation, but then, like, my comment that I gave to someone a second ago suddenly went through. So now I'm, like, confused about, like, why I'd be getting this response. Like, I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, like, what's up with Private Joker? Like, clearly, like, what I've said is that they were kidnapping girls and selling them, and, like, it was a sex trafficking thing. I think Angela Chow, like, strikes me as, like, a pretty chill, like, nice person, and she, like, might have, like, realized, like, how screwed up, like, she was in her head. Like, she was very confused about everything, like, her age and everything, and, like, everyone gets kind of mad about stuff like that. Because, like, right now I'm like sitting there going, okay, man, like, I know my fighting weight, like, should be 185, but, like, I can do 205. And then suddenly it's like, I can't even cut to 205 ever. I know I'm 185 if I'm actually competing. I will never understand that a guy can have a big muscle belly because, like, he's a big muscle guy. That's not TV. We've got, like, teenagers always confusing the shit out of us. Old Vincent from Eureka has to be hot, so, like, he's got to use himself when he's 10. Like, because I could be hot, like, if I'm 10, I'm like a hot 30-year-old. So old Anderson, like, is the same guy. It's the same clone. Like, everyone's got to figure out how to, like, use their clone properly. Like, my clone sings great at the age of 8. The thing is, like, it doesn't matter how old I am. I think that I'm the type of person that can, like, look at that and go, okay, he's got black hair that's that messy. It's like they tackled him and then went, okay, well, I mean, but you already had black hair. You were dyeing it, but, like, he seems pretty committed. What I'm committed to is figuring out, like, why I think David Crowder is 6'6" tall. Like, or, like, maybe that guy's, like, 6'5". Like, that guy is so freaking tall. Like, no, he's 6'4". Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But, like, I know he's so freaking tall. It turns out, like, that he's probably shorter than me because, like, I know his clone. And, like, I mean, but, like, with his hair, he's taller than me. But, like, with his hair, he's probably, like, freaking, that's probably why he's 6'6". And I think it's all about, like who's standing next to you, like, and it really gets really weird because if you didn't know, like, I went to David Crowder's church in Waco my freshman year, which is when I would have been the smallest. And then, like, our pastor died. He got electrocuted in front of the entire church. But I skipped church because I was with Amy Lee. And the reason I know about Amy Lee is I have a song called Erase You by Glass Roads. It's about my ex-girlfriend who I fell in love with in a field. And she has a song, like, My Heart Is Broken, where she's in a field. But it's not just that. She has a song, Erase This. And Amy Lee is from Evanescence. But Is That Person Alive? They kill like, all of us. Like, they will kill you so much. Like, yeah, I think that one was dead probably. But, like, the thing is that, like, Amy Lee's clone is who knew this girl who just died because, like, her Tesla turned into a self-driving car and killed her. Like, that's my theory. But everyone knows she was so drunk. Well, probably she's drunk a lot. Like, there are a lot of people that are drunk a lot. Like, I'm someone that has never realized that I'm, like, 5 years old and that I don't know my weight. But, like, do I talk with the government about self-driving cars? Like, I mean, I've talked to the government about, like, I've done research, like, with people that are doing research on self-driving car security for the government, literally. Like, my good friend was doing self-driving cars. Like, that's why I know so much about self-driving cars. Like, I know, like, about, like, computer stuff. I know about, like, car computer stuff. And so, like, I always said, like, you shouldn't be able to open your door from an app. Like, that's just something that we're just not going to do. Is, like, that's, like, the locks are, like, mechanical. Like, we need mechanical things, like, always. Like, that's the cornerstone of, like, industrial control system security. Like, we'll have mechanical things. All right. Sorry that I'm high. I'm not sorry that I'm high. It's the Illuminati's fault.